Vice President Kamala Harris got some good news the other day. There is a poll showing her beating Trump 44% to 42%, according to Reuters Ipsos polling. Also, 91% of Democratic voters said that they viewed Harris favorably, and that's compared to just 80% who felt that way about Biden, shoring up that base. A Trump campaign pollster, however, downplayed the results. In a memo to reporters, Fabrizio said, quote, that bump is likely to start showing itself over the next few days and will last for a while. Other good news for Harris, the poll found about 56% of registered voters agree with the assertion that Harris was mentally sharp and able to deal with challenges, while 49% said the same for Trump and just 22% said that about Joe Biden. Plus, money has been pouring in for Kamala. Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings donated $7 million to a super PAC that supports Harris. George Clooney, a big-time Democratic fundraiser, along with Melinda Gates, one of the world's richest women, have both thrown their support behind Harris. The Harris campaign reported raising more than $100 million in the first 41 hours after Biden announced that he was dropping out.
Now, there's also a PAC that was previously named Haley Voters for Biden, who expressed their support for Harris. Now, a law firm representing Haley's campaign sent a letter demanding the PAC, quote, cease and desist any unlawful use of Ambassador Haley's name in your PAC name. Haley told Fox News, quote, Kamala Harris and I are total opposites, and any attempt to use my name to support her or her agenda is deceptive and wrong. The PAC responded, writing, quote, our rights to engage with like-minded voters and encourage them to vote for Kamala Harris, the clear better choice for the country, will not be suppressed. Meanwhile, Trump confirmed he'll absolutely commit to debating Kamala Harris, though he said he's not thrilled about ABC hosting it. And he said he'd be willing to do more than one debate during a press call yesterday. So I am excited to see that. I want to go to this poll from Ipsos Reuters. Of course, there's a 3% margin of error. That's always important. This matchup head-to-head, Harris and Trump, is within the margin of error, but it does show a difference between the 44% tie we were seeing before she became the nominee. But also, we can't forget our boy RFK Jr., Bobby Kennedy. When you throw him into the mix, Harris led Trump 42% to 38%, pulling her ahead, even considering the margin of error.
Yep, and Kennedy at 8%. I should say, so this is the most favorable poll result for her. I just pulled up Nate Silver, and he has a roundup of all the polls we have from this most recent couple days. That's the best result from her. A Marist poll has them equal, 42, 42, and 7 for Kennedy. And then in Morning Consult, Trump is up 2. SoCal Research, Trump is up 6. YouGov, Trump is up 2. Florida Atlantic University, he's up 6. Quinnipiac has him up 4. Harris X has him up 8. And Echelon has him up 2. On average, he's up 2.9 percentage points over her. So I think the bottom line...
But you have to look at the margin of error of those polls as well.
Yeah, I think... Look, I wouldn't trust any of these polls, the ones very for Trump or very for... I wouldn't trust them all at this point, because this race is so dynamic. We've just swapped out Biden for Kamala. The voters are just waking up to that reality. I'm going to want to know maybe 2 weeks from now, maybe more, when the race settles down a little bit, how people feel with respect to Kamala versus Trump once the reality has sunken in. It would not surprise me at all to see her polling better than Biden against Trump. I think the Trump campaign is prepared and is gearing up for this to be now a more competitive campaign than it was about to be before. When it was versus Trump, I think they were basically already popping the champagne bottles. And Kamala Harris is going to be able to mount a more vigorous challenge. I'm glad Trump has said that he does envision those debates taking place to run from the debates, even if he was able to use the excuse that, well, I agreed to debate Biden, I didn't agree to debate Harris. I don't think that would have been a good sign, and also he doesn't have any reason to fear. He's done well on the debate stage, so he should be looking to use that to his advantage. But yeah, Kamala is going to be able to campaign more vigorously, to speak more energetically, to participate in debates, and it's going to, the likelihood is that it's going to be a closer election, even though, as I've said many times on this show and will continue to point out, she is less of a tested commodity and hasn't had as much opportunity on the national stage. She hasn't run in nearly as many elections as Joe Biden has, so she has I think she's just a riskier, I hesitate to call her riskier because the risk of Biden, who was just losing so badly, staying, that was also a risk. But I think her ability to overperform and also underperform has not been really explored yet, and we're going to see.
Yeah, what we've seen so far is Harris on the campaign trail hitting at Project 2025. Trump hasn't said, this is my policy plan, this is what we're going to do. He speaks in a lot of platitudes. He says, drain the swamp, we have to change our government, the deep state, this and that. What's the plan to do that, though? You cannot just talk about issues without saying how you're going to fix the issues. That's what people are voting for. They're not just voting for, hey, this guy gets me. Although I'm sure some people do that. That's really not what we imagine when we imagine voting for a president. You vote for someone based on the course of action they'll pursue. So there's a void there that Project 2025 is effectively filling. So Kamala Harris is saying her vision and hitting back at Project 2025, saying it's extreme, outlining how they want to get rid of the Department of Education, outlining how they want to cut Medicare and Social Security.
If only.
And Trump is saying, I don't agree with this isn't my plan. But 6 of his cabinet secretaries are the authors that penned that 900-page document. So unless he comes out with an alternative, this is the de facto Trump 2024 agenda.
Look, Democrats have succeeded in demonizing Project 2025 and increasing its unfavorability ratings dramatically. That effort has worked. I don't know that that's going to end up impacting Trump very much because he's not endorsed it or said he's running on it. In fact, he's at every time said, I have nothing to do with this. And yes, of course, that's a suspect statement. I agree with you. I know from working with people at the Heritage Foundation that they do have influence over who staffs the Trump administration, and that some of the ideas, not all of them, but some of the ideas will make their way into. They will attempt to be implemented into policy. Although some of that stuff, they make it sound like it's sinister and new. Getting rid of the Department of Education has been a Republican talking point, has been something Republicans have discussed doing forever. I interviewed Betsy DeVos, the Secretary of Education under Trump. She was a Secretary of Education, and she thought the department should be abolished. It's the department that oversees how federal funding is administered to schools. And the conservative argument has been it's just bureaucratic waste. You could just write checks directly without having an entire department to do it. So if that's, people think that's sinister, that's not akin to like abolishing public education, that's just saying the massive federal bureaucracy that handles this is not the best way to go about it. It's not a new idea at all. It's not coming in 2025. It's been talked about over and over again. It never happens. It won't happen this time either because Republicans never actually succeed in cutting the government departments and spending that they promised to and that their voters want them to, sadly, to my mind, but here we are.
Yes, the Democrats have successfully demonized Project 2025 by stating what is inside Project 2025. It's been very devastating because it turns out it's not
Well, in some cases they have. In some cases they're stating what's not in it. I just saw Jesse Singal, independent journalist, probably well regarded by many of our viewers, a friend of mine, used to write for New York Magazine and has his own podcast with Katie Herzog, calling out Molly Jong Fast, who on her podcast said that, let me pull this up so I don't misspeak, said that Project 2025, so Molly Jong Fast did a video on, Molly Jong Fast is a liberal journalist on MSNBC a lot, or CNN. She's on MSNBC and CNN. And she said in a recent video that she bragged had been viewed like 500,000 times or something, that in Project 2025 includes a plan to end no-fault divorce, a complete ban on abortions, and banning Muslims from entering the country. That's what she said. Jesse Singal fact-checked it by reading Project 2025 and said it does not call for any of those things. She then just edited those parts out of the video.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it does not call for ending no-fault divorce, which is
a lot of the advisors of the projects call for no-fault divorce. Trump has proposed a Muslim ban himself. They've talked about, Trump didn't deny in the debate when he was directly asked if a bill comes before his desk banning abortion on the national level, that when Joe Biden said Trump would sign it, I would not. Trump didn't correct that. So I think all of those three
Trump
things,
has said
whether or not
there
they're in that document,
national abortion policy.
But the thing is when he had the opportunity to say, no, I would not sign that, he didn't say anything at all. And I think a lot of women are looking for him to indicate, no, I would not sign that. I'm not for a national abortion ban. And he didn't take the opportunity.
It's not going to come across his desk, though.
How do you know that?
Because it would be filibustered by the Democrats in the Senate.
In a world.
There's not 60 votes. You would need to have a national ban on abortion at the national level to have the president sign it. You would need the Republicans to have control of the House and a 60-seat majority in the Senate and the presidency. They don't have any of that. This is not going to happen. Not going to happen.
In a world where it did, I think people want to know what Trump would do. They want to know what the president would do in that situation, given the circumstances that many states have had these trigger bans where they're very restrictive. There's not exceptions in some states for rape and incest. We've had thousands of women, tens of thousands of women traveling across states for abortion. It's very expensive. This is an issue that a lot of voters are looking at. And the no-fault divorce thing is kind of ushering in this era of putting us back to almost the women's suffrage era. We talked to a woman on Friday from the South Carolina faction of the Republican Party. The lone 3 women that were in the Republican Party in the South Carolina legislature were pushed out by male primary challengers. Why? Because they decided they would not vote for the very restrictive abortion ban. This is an issue that a lot of women care about, even conservative Republican women. And I think having people like Vance say that men deserve to be pregnant, we have a right to be bred, and that they're taking away women's rights.
Men can't be pregnant, I don't think. You mean men deserve to get their women pregnant?
Yeah, I think that's what he means by that. And so,
men deserve to be pregnant would be kind of a progressive take or something.
It would be a progressive take, and maybe that's why he's so unpopular. But yeah, I think that kind of rhetoric of like, you can't get divorced, you have to be essentially the
I don't agree with any of that.
Husband.
I don't agree with any of that,
and
I don't think it's good to run on it, and I don't think Trump agrees with it either, and I don't think he's running on it.
But he doesn't have a policy plan, and so that void's being filled by his former top advisors and the Project 2025 people and conservative think tanks.
I think that's some wishful thinking on Democrats' part. He's running on. He returned the abortion issue to the states and is running on keeping it at the state level, where there is for states to come up with some kind of consensus or go their own way. That's what he has signaled he should do. That's what I personally support. So we'll see.
So Vance's direct quote is, men want to be bred and deserve to be pregnant.
Men want to be?
Maybe he's pro-trans, Robbie.
I don't think... Okay.
Maybe that's why he's wearing eyeliner so much these days. But I think that the debate is going to be a point where Kamala Harris needs to say, do you support this or not? What do you believe should happen with the abortion ban? Should it be only the states deciding?
Yeah,
or
she
not?
should ask him about it.
Do you support a ceasefire in Gaza? She should just straightforwardly get
Does
commitments so people know what they're voting for. Because
Sure.
Trump has just let this void be filled by his former advisors and conservative think tanks. And I think the American people are slowly starting to realize that they're not totally in love with Project 2025, and he's got to put something else forth if he wants to keep his vote share.
Yeah, it's not his thing. American people do not like it. They don't even know what's in it. They would like some things in it, and they would dislike others, just like I like some things in it, and I dislike others. But maybe we'll take a closer look at Project 2025 in the coming weeks. But that does it for us today on Rising. It was a spicy show. We had a lot of arguments.
Spicier than usual.
I liked it. It was fun. I know our viewers appreciate.
So bratty.
Oh my goodness. Our viewers appreciate a good debate and a good argument. So I'm glad that we can have that dynamic as well.
Yes, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen on the go, we are available wherever you get your podcasts.
And we'll be back right here tomorrow. Same rising time, same rising place. See you then.
Bye, y'all.